We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to episode 23 of Vikings Uncensored. 23 episodes. Can you freaking believe that, man?
I know. That's awesome. That's awesome.
And we're getting down to it here. We got...
I'm still as excited about this show as I was the first day we started.
Yep. And a little under a month, we're going to have real games to talk about.
Right.
But before we get started this week, we got a big announcement here we want to share with everybody. We've got a new sponsor coming on board with us for Vikings Uncensored, the Boulder Tap House.
Yeah.
We're happy to have those guys aboard. They've got 10 locations in Vikings country, so wherever you're at, there's probably one not too far away from you. With Boulder Tap House, you can join their loyalty program and earn real sweet rewards. They've even got an option where you can earn a road trip to a brewery once you complete 500 different craft beer tastes or orders at their restaurants. All you need to do is stop by, sign up, and ask your bartender for some more information. But with the Boulder Tap House, they have craft burgers, craft beer, and an atmosphere that the whole family will love. So we want to thank those guys for jumping on board with us, and we look forward to a real cool partnership with these guys. So
yep, it's fantastic.
So we got a lot of news to go over here this week, kind of in line with the preseason stuff and a few other things. But so we'll hit that first, and then we'll kind of go through the Indy game, and then of course, since you guys are going to be seeing this show right up before the Friday preseason finale with Kansas City, we're kind of serving as a pregame show here. So we'll break down the KC game here too later on. So, but with that, the biggest news, and this had started rumbling before, kind of late last week before the game and stuff, that the Vikings had brought Everson Griffin back in for a workout. Well, now as of Monday, it became official. Sack Daddy is back.
He is back.
People keep asking if I'm back, and I haven't really had an answer. But now, yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
We haven't heard terms of the contract as of yet. Here we're recording on Tuesday, but I'm guessing.
You know what, though, for real?
What's that?
I would like to be a fly on the wall when him and Kirk see each other face to face.
Yeah, I mean, Everson practiced yesterday, so I'm guessing that conversation has probably taken place by now. And he said he was going to apologize.
Maybe it hasn't taken place. Maybe they're just like, fuck it.
I don't know. Well, and as you know, for those of you who don't know what we were talking about, early last spring when Everson was making his push to try to come back to the Vikings again, he had tweeted out that Kirk Cousins was ass, and that Zimmer never wanted him in the first place, basically. And then he quickly took it down, but it got
after
out there.
Things had soured, obviously, between the two parties, and then obviously things picked back up again, and we got him on the team.
Right. So, but
uncomfortable, awkward.
Yeah, but it'll be interesting to see. I'm hoping everybody can be professionals.
I'm glad he's back. Honestly.
I mean, I've always liked Griffin. There again, he's, he made the comment yesterday that when he left, he thought maybe the grass would be greener on the other side of the fence, and he said it wasn't. So he wanted to come back. He wanted to be back, and he's back for now.
Yeah,
And-
you know, honestly, he always loved it here. He just wanted to see, basically, like any other human being, what else was out there.
yeah.
You know, and we weren't in a hurry to honestly resign him. We were wanting to see what we had as well. And now, you know, here we are a year later, a season gone, and he's back on the team. So
Right. You know, and it's, you know, he did have, I think 6.5 sacks last year
if he
playing.
would have led our team.
Yeah, playing with Dallas and Detroit in a and not a full-time role. So if he can still
Right.
come with that kind of output, you know,
I believe you could plug in Everson anywhere along that D line at any point in time.
yeah, well, and you know, we ran him in the NASCAR package a couple of years ago in that playoff game.
He's
against,
built for it.
Yep. So we'll see what he's got left. You know, hopefully he's got another year or two in the tank, maybe. And you know, we desperately need some extra pass.
Well, basically, if we're going to bring in Sheldon Richardson, we might as well see what Everson's got too. So
Yeah, got to pretty much bringing the band back together here. So
I don't want to hear any more of this small change shit. We're putting the band back together.
but
yep.
beyond that, of course, we had to be down to, I think it's 80 players by 3 p.m. on Tuesday. By Monday, we had made most of the cuts. I think we got them all. Dylan Maben, cornerback, wide receiver Warren Jackson, quarterback Danny Etling, linebacker Christian Ellis, and defensive tackle Jordan Scott. Now, feel kind of bad for Scott. I mean, I knew he wasn't going to make the roster, but he made a splash play during the game on Saturday. You know, he was the guy one of the guys that got an interception. So
Right. I thought it was Watts, but apparently it turned out to
yeah,
be Scott.
I did too originally, but it ended up being, when I watched it back, it was Jordan Scott. So then defensive end Janarius Robinson, one of the rookies, he was put on injured reserve with an undisclosed injury, which honestly, I think probably
Could
means
be a fucking
that,
hangnail for all we know.
yeah, he got a bruise in his knee or whatever. So they're going to put him on, stash him on IR for this year, basically redshirt him.
I'm okay with that. We're not losing him,
Yeah.
you know, so I'm okay with Griffin coming in. It's kind of a wonky way to go about it, but it works. So
And it's not, and there's technically no rule against it. You know, you just got to come up with some kind of an injury and put him
Right.
on IR, and
it's a loophole
Mhm.
that we, I think,
and
took
it,
advantage of.
and it saves not having to expose him to waivers to try to put him on the practice squad. But then we had one other
Right.
signing. We brought in former Atlanta Falcons running back Ito Smith. I'm not quite sure what the reasoning is behind this, unless they just figure that they want to have another running back to take a few carries in this final preseason game. That's about all I can think of, because I'm guessing
That's what my thoughts are as well.
yeah, I'm guessing Kenny Nwangu probably is not going to play. You know, they're kind of watching his knee. So
Right.
otherwise, we just have Axl Rose Jr. and Abdullah Oblongata doing running up, you know, and the way the play calling's been.
Amir has looked good this preseason. I'm not very high on Amir Abdullah Oblongata, really on the normal part, but he looks like he's scrapping for a roster spot.
Well, he knows his job's on the line, because once Wangu and everybody else comes back, then,
Yep.
you know, his kick return duties are probably going to be gone. So
Yeah.
I don't see Abdullah really probably making.
Too many eggs in one basket on this team. Somebody's got to go.
Yeah, but you know, we'll see.
We will see.
With that, we'll move into a recap of the Indy game. Hit this stuff. There's not a whole lot to talk about, I guess, at least especially offensively, but there was some things that we saw. So we'll start off with the offense.
Right.
The biggest thing I saw was our right guard play.
Yeah.
The top 3 highest ranking players on the entire team on PFF, and here again, granted, we're not putting too much in PFF, but the top 3 were Oli Udo, Dakota Dozier, and Wyatt Davis.
I know, right?
I mean,
With PFF, I know that with you, but with offensive linemen, it
Yep.
can be hard to grade them out, which is why we use PFF as kind of a, you know, a know-how when it comes to the offensive line.
Right. Well, yeah. When it comes to the other positions, I don't really take too much stock in them, but it yeah, it is really hard to grade an offensive lineman. So, you know, and yeah, I rag on them, but you know, there is a place for what they come up with. But as we see with, you know, jumping
But it's
sports,
not the end all say all though.
right?
Either.
As we see with jumping sports, you know, we look at the Minnesota Twins; they rely completely and totally on sabermetrics and this kind of stuff. Whereas you use it as a tool, you can't use it as like you said, the end all be all thing. Otherwise, on the good stuff, Chad Beebe had himself another decent night.
Right.
You know, at this point in time, Chad Beebe's making the roster. I'm going to say that right now. I mentioned it last week too, but I'd be shocked if he doesn't.
If the kid can learn to stay healthy, I would put some of my money in his pocket.
Yeah. And maybe he's figured that out. I mean, we'll see, but
right.
But otherwise on the offense, there was a whole lot more bad than good. You know, once again, the offensive play calling was absolutely putrid.
Stale.
If this is how Clint with a K is going to call his offense during the regular season, we are in trouble.
I don't believe so.
He can't.
I really don't. I think he's just keeping it really vanilla, and I hope he surprises us all week one with something like, well, okay.
He better, because I mean, right now vanilla would be an improvement over what we're doing, which is why we had to bring in Ito Smith, because we run the damn ball 75 times in the. Beyond that, you know, as good as our guard situation looked, Ezra Cleveland also looked pretty good. Rashad Hill didn't. He gave up a sack early on, and we
know what we're getting out of Hill.
Yeah, he struggled on the left side, you know, and I honestly, that's probably one of my bigger concerns with the team right now is that left tackle play until Darisaw gets back. And even when Darisaw gets back, we don't know what we have with him yet either. Beyond that, none of the quarterbacks looked very good, I didn't think.
No, and I believe that had a lot to do with the play calling. I don't think you could put all that on Kirk's, Mons, or Browning's shoulders so much. I think the play calling had a lot to do with it, and the defense that we were playing against could just, it's like they knew what we were calling before it even got sent out there. Yeah,
and I mean, you know, there were instances with all three quarterbacks. You know, Kirk missed a couple of wide open wide receivers, one play in particular.
We forced the pass too much to start out the game.
That's what I was going to say. That one play in particular.
We can never get some common ground. It's always going to a game lollygagging, which I fucking hate. You know, it's preseason, but this has happened in the regular season as far as lollygagging into a game. You know, 3 and out. What the fuck?
Right. Well, yeah, we have not scored a touchdown yet on offense in the preseason, which is bad.
You know what? Last year, time of possession was a huge problem for us. And right now it's starting to look like it's going to be the same fucking thing.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's getting bad when Zimmer comes out in his press conferences and saying we need to start pushing the ball downfield more. We need to establish the freaking run at all costs is now saying we need to throw the ball more. So,
hey, if he's going to say it, I want to see it, you know, for sure. I'd like to hear it. You know, that makes my ears tingle by him saying that. Let's see it. Let's see some mixture.
Yeah. But, you know, back to the quarterback stuff.
Exactly right.
You know, like I said, Kirk missed a couple of wide opens. He tried to force that one to Irv Smith when he had Chad Beebe running wide open, you know, 5 yards out in front of him. I don't know why he didn't throw it to Beebe there. I get trying to push it a little bit more, but, you know, Kirk has had this problem a lot.
I was going to say he's had that problem before where he's missed wide open guys. But
it's not just Kirk, but
right.
You know, we notice this stuff because we pay more attention to the Vikings, of course, and Kirk does have an issue with this once in a while.
Yes. Just like any other quarterback, but we see it. So,
yeah. And speaking of seeing, I am officially out on the Jake Browning experiment.
I'm out.
What?
Yeah, I'm out. I'm out of the contest.
You're out?
Yeah.
Wow, that was fast.
yeah, me too. Bow.
I don't see any way, shape, or form that we could have him as our number 2 cornerback. I have no faith whatsoever that he could come in, if Kirk gets hurt during a game or, has to go out on protocol or whatever, that he could come in and run the team. I don't see it.
I think he was a one-hit wonder on that Saturday night, and that was about all. That was his best shining moment in his professional career so far.
Yeah, and beyond that, he's not accurate with his passes. He's not putting the right zip and touch on the passes.
Throwing fucking ducks.
Yep. So I'm officially out on Jake Browning. We need to be looking for a potential other backup solution just in case. I know. I'm going to
disagree.
I know where you're going on that, but we'll move to him next year.
I know, and everybody else out there that's watching us knows too.
Yeah,
I know, but Kirk, knock on wood, and you know what I'm about to say. He's been, keeps his body healthy. He hasn't been injured his entire career. Hasn't missed any time. Throw him on in at the number 2 and, put it in God's hands.
Yeah. My biggest thing, and I've said this multiple times too, when we've discussed this is, Mond obviously is not ready. He's shown a few sparks here and there, but he's obviously not ready to take on that kind of role yet. I don't think. I don't want to ruin Mond because I want to have something that is a long-term.
I can understand that
succession plan here. And again, part of the way that Mond and all of them have looked has been the play calling, that they're not letting any of them really show what they can do, throwing the ball down the field, whatever. The one real nice play that Kellen Mond had, I think it was to Myron Mitchell through the pasture or whatever, that was negated by a
that was nice
holding penalty.
And that was a professional throw, man, right there. He had people in his face. He was in the middle of getting hit, and he put the ball right where it needed to be.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing with Mond I am seeing is his pocket presence. He will step up, he'll move around, he'll do that kind of stuff that, we've been asking for a quarterback to do.
Okay, with Mond, you say he's not ready, but he's one of those quarterbacks that can evolve as he plays, I believe. He's able to learn on the fly, in my opinion, because of his style of play. And that's why I wouldn't be afraid to have him at a number 2, especially because he's sitting behind Kirk, and Kirk has been known to, be able to stay healthy.
Yeah.
He was a 4-year starter in college. That says a lot right there. That's a lot of experience. The only knock I have on Mond, and we've seen it on Saturday. Well, I got some knocks, but a main knock that I have on him is his ability to play from under center, which, in my opinion, can be corrected over time.
Yeah.
Well,
we saw that the first play of the game when he fumbled the snap right off the get-go when he came in, but.
With Mond having that escapability, it adds a different dynamic to the game, so he is able to learn on the fly. Whereas if you had like a Mac Jones where they're more of a pocket passer, he's more prone at taking more sacks, whereas Mond has more of that escapability.
True.
If he can make plays happen off script, even better.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Right. And, maybe Mond would be able to show, if he could show that more, and a big part of that is because we've got
that would sway your opinion a little bit more to one side. Right.
We've got the training wheels on him, and we're running the ball 75 times when he's in there. We're not letting him.
I seen something. Right. I seen something on Saturday which kind of was like, okay, so they ran a bootleg with Kirk Cousins.
Mhm.
I want to see them run a bootleg with fucking Kellen Mond. I don't think I seen one of those on Saturday.
No, I think the only time he was
No.
actually moving out of the pocket was when he was trying to escape pressure.
When he was running away from pressure. I don't know.
Yeah.
You got to use this kid right. And like I said, I believe he has the ability to evolve as he plays. So if it came down to it and we needed to put him in there, you get the kid comfortable and going and go from there. If you know how to call the game like that.
Right. And that's
quick passes is what this offense needs. Until that offensive line can gel, this offense needs to rely on quick passes.
But that's one thing that concerns me is, we haven't seen anything in the play calling yet that says that
right.
Clint knows what the hell he's doing. So we need to see that, and then maybe I'd feel a little better about it too. But
I think week 1 we are going to see obviously a whole different playbook.
God,
I really
hope so.
This is not the playbook that we're walking into week 1 with.
If it is, we're in deep trouble.
Yeah, I don't think so though. It's preseason. I think Clint is keeping his aces in his pocket or up his sleeves. So
He better have them somewhere, else he's going to get
better.
He's
better.
gonna
I'm on that board too, but I believe he's hiding something from the world. So
yeah, if he's keeping something up he better be keeping something up his sleeve, or he's going to have something up his ass when by the time the season starts rolling around.
No shit. Right.
But anyway, the only other thing, I guess we'll better move on here because we're running out of time.
We're dragging here.
The only other thing to come out of the offensive side on Saturday was, of course, Adam Thielen got banged up right off the get-go. Yeah, just a thigh bruise. He should be fine. We won't see him play this week, I'm sure.
I don't even think it's a deep tissue bruise or anything. I think it's just
he said he was fine at the end of the game there when they talked to him on TV. So with that, we'll move on to the defense. Now, a lot more good stuff this week, which we were hitting on it last week real hard, how bad the defense looked. These guys, I think
180.
They got the message, I think.
Yeah.
We didn't see.
It also helps that you got some of your starters going too.
Yeah, we still didn't see Patrick Peterson. We didn't see Harrison Smith, Xavier Woods, or Danielle Hunter, but we did see quite a bit of good play out of those that were in there.
We got to see the beef.
Yep. I feel a lot better about stopping the run up the middle after watching those two guys play this week. I mean,
yeah,
there weren't anybody really going too far with those guys.
I am so excited to see those two in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
In meaningful games, because they're making the team, obviously.
Oh yeah, there's no question.
I want to see these guys. I can't wait till week 1. Man, yeah. I'm just pumped.
And of a couple other of the starters that were made a presence, Bashad Breeland, he looked really good, I thought. So you got that smirk.
Breeland looked really good. Yeah, he had a couple of nice pass breakups.
Yep. So that's encouraging. Nick Vigil, he also had a really nice PBU in coverage early on. Beyond that, a lot of the backups, who didn't look that great the first couple of weeks, looked pretty good.
Looked to be smoothing out the edges, yeah.
Two of them in particular that I saw jumped out was a couple of linebackers, Blake Lynch. And then, of course, he played. I mean, and he was I think he started in the base 4-3, be it with Anthony Barr being out yet.
He's athletic, dude, for sure.
Yeah,
we got some nice looks at linebacker for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the guy that was making splash plays all over the field was Troy Dye this week. He had the pick 6. The very next play, he almost had a sack, and then just about had an interception again later on. He kind of pulled that.
He's never been high on my list. But he looked good last night.
He was all over the place. I thought he had a really good game. Beyond that, Armon Watts played really well, I thought. He was a good bright spot last week too, so that's good to see. Yeah, he had been in there. He's probably making the team, I would think.
Oh yeah, he's progressing. I mean, he's one of those later round picks that we've kind of been molding through the last couple of years. So
yep. Beyond them, Chaz Surratt again was in on a ton of plays when he was in there.
He's amazing. He's gonna be. I think he might be Barr's fucking apprentice. You know, I think he has the ability to start. He is all over the place, and he's fast. He can play sideline to sideline. And the fact that he has that offensive knowledge in his back pocket it can't hurt him.
Right. Then, of course, we had another interception. Lineman Jordan Scott, who unfortunately was cut, made a splash play on Saturday, was cut on Monday. We had him. Harrison Hand, I thought had a nice game. He played pretty well back.
He did.
For the most part, the secondary in general played a lot better. Chris Boyd.
Boyd showed up again too, so that's good.
Boyd had another good game.
29, man. He's having a good fucking preseason.
And we'll kind of use Chris Boyd to roll into the bad stuff here. Chris Boyd has actually surpassed Cam Dantzler on the depth chart now.
Nice.
You saw Dantzler was playing deep into the fourth quarter, and when they asked Zimmer about it afterwards, they said, he said Boyd's playing better right now. Flat out.
Good to hear it, Zim.
Yep. So,
so like I said, I've been saying it now for 2 weeks. Something is going, you as well. Right. Something is going on with Dantzler, mentally or physically. One or the other, something's going on there.
And I don't know what it is. He needs to figure it out, or else he's not going to, like you said last week, NFL is going to stand for not for long if he doesn't get it figured out.
I understand. This is the NFL, which stands for not for long when you make them calls. I'll be selling groceries.
Right.
Beyond that, pass rush is still a concern. Now, granted, we didn't have Danielle Hunter in there, but we didn't generate a ton of pass rush. There was a few pressures. I know Kenny Willikus had one. I think Wanham had one. Stephen Weatherly disappointed me again. I don't think he played very well.
I honestly think he could be cut. He might be that cut where you're like, okay, I could see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we've got Everson back. We trust him more than we trust Weatherly. I mean, I can see it being a possibility. It's not too far out there of a take.
Right.
Beyond that, I did see like Cam Bynum. He's got work to do. He was out of position a couple different times again.
I'm willing to give him a little bit longer of a leash. I don't look for him to have any, really big time and actual be. I look for him to be a special teamer to start out. And he's a work in progress. He's never played safety, so he's transitioning. We'll give him a little bit longer of a leash, I believe.
Yeah. And since you mentioned special teams, now we'll roll into the special teams. See, we got this flow going really nicely here today.
Yeah, we do. It's good. It's a good flow today.
Yep. The good stuff on special teams, the coverage was much better this week.
Special teams for me gets about a B+, A- grade this week. It was much better.
Yep. There was a couple different times. I know Chaz Surratt on one play dang near took the head off of the returner when he trucked him down.
Smart play by Surratt too. In my opinion, if the guy calls for the fair catch, hopefully you hold off there, but he did what he needed to do.
Yep, and the guy didn't call for fair catch, so he leveled him, and that's exactly what you want the kid to do. Yep. So beyond that, Britton Colquitt.
I'm going to say one thing here.
Oh, go ahead.
Before you go.
Yep.
You're probably getting there. And I'm just gonna take it from you.
Go ahead.
I like what I seen out of Joseph, regardless of that miss, how he came back and he nailed the last field goal that he took.
Yeah.
He came back and overcame that miss, where a lot of the times you see these guys get that miss and they just shit it. It's just down the shitter. For
especially on this team.
So I thought Joseph looked a lot better.
Yeah.
And the one miss that he did have was from 51 yards out. So
yeah, I mean, in game situations, you need to be making those, but yeah,
you're right.
We'll give him a pass on it. He's been pretty decent so far in camp. So, and right now we don't have.
Yeah, the one bad day that kind of stuck to him for a little bit there, but I think he's rising above it. So
yeah, I'm never going to feel comfortable with a kicker, no matter who's out there. So, but
I left you on Colquitt, so we'll get there.
Okay, yeah, well, back to Colquitt. He had a much better game this week. I think his average was up like 48, 49 yards.
Yeah. That's the thing with Skullquit, though. He's been inconsistent. You keep that game, and we'll keep you on the roster.
Yeah, he had, I think, 3 of his punts ended up inside the 20, which is what you want.
He had a hell of a game for sure.
So
it was
that looked
nice.
good. Then into the return game, Smith Marset showed up in returns this week.
I want to see that.
And that's where he's gonna make his bread, probably, to start with anyway. That one kickoff return, I know Zimmer said he wasn't supposed to bring it out, but he did anyway, and he ended up getting a 40-yard return out of it.
Yep. You do things like that, and you put yourself out there like that. It's all it's going to do is help you. So I mean, you can either make a boneheaded play, or you can take it and make it into something special. And you did that, boy. So
yeah,
good job.
Other returners, Amir Abdullah, he was pretty much meh as far as I was concerned on returns.
We said meh, M-E-H, meh.
Yeah, I thought he did a lot better at running back, but
yeah.
I think Smith Marset, going backwards, might have had more fucking return yards in that punt return than what we had all year last year. So
yeah, well, we literally on punt returns last year for the season had 67 yards.
Right, and we covered that a couple episodes back.
Right,
but yeah, that was nice to see that.
So I mean, other than the offensive side of things, I think it was a much better team effort this week. I think the guys kind of took it to heart when Zimmer started chewing their ass and making them scrimmage and stuff during the week. So hopefully the switch is flipped on, and now we just have to wait for the offense to show what it can do.
Let's get it going, Zim. Let's get that motivation flowing like you've been doing this last week, and keep it going.
Right. Okay, so with that, unless you've got any other points to bring up on.
No, I just want to see some touchdowns get scored here, man.
Yep. So
going into the season.
Yep. So we'll move on to our weekly awards segment. So of course we'll start off again this week with the Badass of the Week award.
Who is that guy? Whoever he is one tough badass.
So who's your badass for this week, Lance?
I got to go with Surratt, man. He is, to me, impressing me. Like I had a good feeling about this kid coming out. And now he's just justifying that feeling. And I think he could be the successor at that position eventually, possibly even mid-season, depending on what exactly is going on with Barr. But Surratt has the ability to be a starter, in my opinion, and he's been looking great. So.
Yeah, and we got to remember, this is, he's only played linebacker for a year, so.
Right, he's quick, he's instinctual, he's smart, he wants to be great. And he played a good game this week, so that's my badass.
For me, I'm going to go with Troy Dye. I like it. The kid showed up, like I said, he had that pick 6 early on, the only touchdown we've scored in the preseason so far. Yeah, and then he just about had a second interception, and was in on a lot of plays. Had himself a hell of a game. Last week I said, I want to see people step up and say, I want to be on this team. Troy Dye was one of those guys this week.
Do you think he makes the team?
I think he does.
Okay? Nice.
If we keep 6 linebackers, I don't know if we keep 5 or 6.
I think we'd keep 6.
Probably. My guess is it's going to be, of course, Vigil, Kendricks, Barr, and then the other 3 would be Blake Lynch, Troy Dye, and Chaz Surratt.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
If we only keep 5, then it gets a little more interesting. But
yeah.
So then we'll move on now to the probably the little lower side of things, but the weekly Red Foreman Award.
Son, you don't have bad luck. The reason that bad things happen to you is because you're a dumbass.
Who do you got this week for your Red Foreman, Lance?
Red Foreman Award.
Of course, you see, we're greatly prepared for this.
Right. Well, I'm thinking here. I would have to go with probably, and I hate to say it, Kellen Mond did not look very good this week. Although, like I said earlier, I think it had a lot to. I mean, I talked Mond up a big game today, but I want to see more. Out of Mond. I think I will see more. I think the play calling had a lot to do with him not being successful this week. I'm not trying to burn Mond, obviously, because I was very supportive of him earlier in the episode. But if there was a downfall as far as like making things happen this week and lighting a spark for the offense, it was Mond. He didn't do much of anything out there. So
That's I can't argue with that. For my Foreman Award, I'm going to go with a little bit more of a broad stroke on this one. And I'm going with Clint Kubiak in the offensive play calling.
Hey, there you go. Playing right off of me first.
Yep.
That works out great.
I mean, what we have seen these first two games, I don't know what to say about it. It's, there's just it's not even vanilla. It's just bland, dry white toast laying in the corner.
That pause there that you have when you try to figure out what you wanted to say, that's our offense.
Right, exactly. Because I'm trying to figure out a word that describes how awful it's been.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, come on, Clint. And like you said, I understand we don't want to show our hand and whatever. We ran one jet sweep off of a hurry up in the get-go.
Look at that motion.
That's the only creativity we had in the entire first 2 weeks of preseason.
Yeah.
Is one jet sweep.
And that's why I gave Mond as well. That's why I gave him the Red Foreman of the week, was directly because of Clint Kubiak. I believe he has a big part in how these guys are playing on offense.
Yeah. Well, it is. And like I mentioned earlier, when Zimmer's even coming out and saying we need to throw the ball more, you're running too much. Because we've seen Zimmer for years say, establish the run, establish the run, establish the run. Now it's, maybe we should try throwing the ball once or twice a game,
We got so many playmakers. Let's get him the ball.
Right. And granted, Thielen wasn't in there very long. Jefferson didn't play at all. He is back at practice now, but they gave him a quarterback jersey so that nobody hits him out there.
Yep.
But right now, Clint with a K, you're getting me concerned with a C. So
yeah, no shit.
So with that, we're gonna move on here to our weekly beer commercial, and so you guys crack one open, check this out, and then we'll preview the KC game when we get back.
Hey, the guys are coming over to watch the game. Aren't you worried about them drinking all the Bud Light?
Not to worry. Look what I had installed.
Secret revolving wall. Dude, you're a genius.
Guys, hurry up! The magic fridge is back!
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Magic fridge. Magic fridge. Okay, we're back. And this Friday night, right after you watch Vikings Uncensored, the Minnesota Vikings play their third and final preseason
is
game.
right around the corner, guys.
Yep. Vikings kick off on Friday at 7:00 Central Time,
which will be tonight.
Yep.
Not tonight, but tonight.
Right. Once you're done watching us, flip over to your local Fox affiliate, or I think it might even be on NFL Network this week. I'm not sure. And
maybe we'll run over into the first quarter and we'll see who gets better ratings.
Yeah, there we go.
I hate that one. I hate playing the late game. And then the team that, the teams that are playing before us going to overtime, it fucking seems to happen all the time.
Yeah. And we join your game in progress. Why are we down 24-3 right now? We missed the first 4 minutes of the game.
Well, they get into the game again, aren't we, Zim?
Yeah. So anyway.
Right. Back on track.
Back on track. We'll bring that car back off the cliff again. With the KC game, now Zimmer had said that we might see some of the starters. I don't know.
Oh, I wouldn't, honestly.
I don't think I would either, because we saw what happened with Thielen last week. We don't need to risk getting somebody important hurt.
Yep.
Well, we really don't want to get anybody hurt, but I mean, somebody who's critical to the team.
And to me, it doesn't make any sense now to play somebody that hasn't played yet.
Mm-hmm.
Why bother?
Right. But beyond that, I guess, what do you want to see come out of this game, Lance?
Better play calling. I want to see some mixing up of play calls, better mixture there. I don't want to see us forcing anything. It'd be nice to see us use the run to step the pass, cliche to speak there, but I'd like to see more development out of Mond. I would like to see some, like I said, better play calling for Mond to make something happen. I'd like to see Mond on some bootlegs here, get him out and, the open and see if he can make plays. Defense, I want to see continued growth on defense as far as, just getting better week to week, that cohesion. I want to see better play out of the depth, which we've seen this week. Special teams, I want to see more consistency as well. It seems to be the main topic here. I want to see, some better special teams. I want to see ISM continue to blossom. Yeah. We'll leave it at that. That was an easy answer for me, but
right.
I kept it easy.
For me, a lot of the same stuff. The offensive play calling is probably, issue number one that I want to see addressed, and open the damn playbook up at least some.
That's true.
Throw a ball more than 10 yards down the field.
To both of us here, though, this is the preseason, so I mean,
we
are fans, and
but
I hear you. I'm frustrated as you as well. So
and rolling into, like you said, wanting to see some progression and stuff out of Kellen Mond. We're not going to see that when we're handing the ball off 42 times.
Well, the way I look at it is, if we're going to throw fucking blitzes at people and some exotic looks on defense, let's throw a little bit of something at them on offense.
Right. There's no reason why we can't.
Right.
We don't have to go in.
Me when I see these other teams in the league moving the ball and, running somewhat of a, regular season playbook and scoring points. And here we are running 1940s fucking football.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And we don't have to open up and, start showing all these exotic motions and all that other kind of stuff. But for God's sake, just throw the ball down the field a little bit.
Put the ball in the fucking end zone.
Right. Take the training wheels off. Let Kellen Mond show you what he can do.
Granted, I did hear a good point from somebody I had been talking to, is maybe they're calling these plays to see, they're looking at certain players on certain plays to see how they, play. So,
yeah, but I mean, when we're just doing, we want to see the biggest issue a lot of the time we had with the offensive line last year was pass blocking. Run blocking wasn't an issue. And Dalvin Cook's not out there.
Run blocking has never been an issue.
No,
with the line. It's always been protecting the passer.
We need to see how they operate in pass blocking. And we can't do that if we're not throwing the freaking ball.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm not, you know what? This offensive line has been a shit show for the last 8 years. Run blocking, pass blocking, whatever you want to call it. I'm taking that back. This offensive line has been shit for the last 8 years. We've had our times where we had some good run blocking, but
yeah,
Dalvin
Cook makes it look a lot better
right.
than it probably is. But
I remember a few years back when our offensive line would get pushed around so bad. We get put as soon as we hiked the ball, the fucking offensive line was getting pushed back. That was a few years ago, but it's the basic. What I'm trying to get at here is that our offensive line has been shit for too long. So
right. Beyond that, of course, there's a few position battles I want to see. Especially that defensive line area. I want to see some pass rush out of the backups. I mean, we all know Danielle Hunter's not going to play. Everson Griffin might play a series or two.
I look for Everson to go. Honestly, I do. He hasn't had any snaps yet this preseason.
Right. Throw him out there for a series or two and get him.
I could see Everson actually going for a half, but that's just me. That's my opinion. Just because just to get him going. I don't know what he needs to get going, but I would just throw him out there for a half because we have, depth there and
but
see what he has in the tank.
We know pretty much what Griffin has, unless he's dropped off considerably from last year. The
Right.
biggest, I want to see, is Weatherly going to finally show that he belongs on this team, or is he going to show that, okay, dude, thanks for coming back, but don't let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Also, of course, now with Robinson on IR, it boils down to the young guys, being Kenny Willekes and Patrick Jones, Jones didn't play last week for some undisclosed injury. I don't know what was up with him, but so we'll see. I want to see something there. I want to see Cam Dantzler get his head pulled out of his ass and actually show that he wants to play.
Yeah.
And then just other than that, I want to see growth, among the guys, Surratt and Dye and those guys. And, because the final cuts are going to come down. I think they have to be done on Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we'll know who the 53 is going to be more or less, granted.
The day after our last preseason game. Yeah.
Granted, there will be, potentially guys that make the initial cut and then the team sees somebody out on the open market that they would rather have, bring them in and somebody else gets cut.
Yeah.
And then we see
practice squad set up and all that shit
too.
Practice
squad gets set up, I think, by Sunday. So by the time we record episode 24, we're going to have a pretty good idea what our final 53 is going to be. So,
yep. And then we'll have to see what we can do. We'll have to do a roster breakdown that show and
I think that's what we'll do.
Grading or whatever there.
Yeah, because there's a week between the final preseason and when we start the regular season. We'll do some roster.
It gives us a chance to slow it down a little bit again.
Right. But we'll do that next week. Beyond that, like I said, it's just, watching these guys that are on the bubble, see if anybody else takes a step up and, stakes claim to being on the team.
Who is going to solidify? I mean, are we going to go out like we had talked about earlier in the show? Are we going to go out and find a veteran quarterback, or is Mon going to solidify that spot at QB2?
Mm-hmm. Or is Browning going to finally step up and show that he has even a remote clue in what the hell he's doing? I
hope he shows me different, but I don't think so.
I'm not going to hold my breath on it. Like I said earlier in the show, I'm out on the Jake Browning experiment. But other than that, that's about all we've got for this week. We want to get this wrapped up so you guys can go watch the game here in a few minutes.
Right.
So,
we don't want to be
no, we're not going to overlap on the game because we all know that you guys are going to jump out and we'll be talking to ourselves about it.
No shit.
But once again, want to thank everybody for watching. You like what you're seeing, subscribe to the channel, hit that little red button down there in the bell. Check us out on all of the various audio channels, Spotify, Amazon, iHeartRadio, and pretty much, your standard
Vikings
ones.
Uncensored, you'll find us.
Yep. And again, follow the social media stuff. We're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok, Instagram. And again, a big thank you to our new sponsor this week, Boulder Tap House.
Yes.
If you guys have one in your area, which, like I said, there's 10 of them across Vikings country. So there's probably one not too far from you guys. Check them out. Check their beer selection out. Their food is awesome. The cheese curds those guys have are massive. They're huge.
Wow.
And they're really good. Check those out. I highly recommend those. But beyond that, we're going to get out of here. So you guys can go watch the game. And so we can go watch the game. But why don't you take us out, Lance?
All right, guys. Well, preseason week 2 is in the books. We haven't got to see some of the main contributors to this team. As I see it, coming up this year, we haven't seen D.D. Westbrook. We haven't seen Justin Jefferson. On defense, we haven't seen Barr, Smith, Peterson. I'm not ready to panic, and I hope, you guys aren't either. Let's just hope Clint has a little bit of spice in store for us to start this season out, which I want to say I would hope so, because what we got right now is about as bland as you can get. Here's to better days, and we will see you next week. Thanks for all the support, guys. Thanks for all the groups that let us in there. Yeah, if you guys want to be in an NFC North discussion group, join NFC North discussion group on Facebook. So I'm in there. I'm an admin. We talk about all the teams in the NFC North. Lots of good Bears, Packers, Lions, Vikings fans in there. We keep it real. I enjoy it. And with that being said, we'll see y'all next week. Let's beat these Chiefs.
We'll see you guys.